Okay, so you guys have sent in some really interesting stuff, and we're ready to take a deep dive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's dive in to this parable of the lost son from Luke. You know, the one where everyone always focuses on the younger son?
Right, the prodigal son.
Yeah, the prodigal son. The one who, like, takes off, messes everything up, and then comes back.
It's a familiar story,
Yeah.
and it makes sense. It's a compelling story.
Yeah, it's like classic redemption arc, right?
Totally, yeah.
But what's really interesting and what all this material you guys have sent in is pointing to is this other journey home.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not the prodigal son, it's the older brother.
Yeah.
And it's not a physical journey home.
Yeah.
It's like an emotional, spiritual, internal journey home.
Right.
And for you, our listener, the learner, this is going to blow your mind about a story you may have heard a million times.
Yeah, you think you know it.
You think you know it, but there's a whole other side to it.
Absolutely. So first, let's jump into this YouTube sermon from Covenant Presbyterian of Palo Alto. And this is so fascinating because the speaker is an only child, yet he has all these insights about sibling dynamics. And his wife is a middle child, so she brings another perspective.
So they're coming at it from, like, completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how their different family experiences inform their understanding of the parable.
Yeah, and it's like, they both have like gaps in their knowledge of what it's like to be that older brother, but then they also bring all this other perspective.
Right.
But what he says that I think is the most important thing is that the older brother's struggle to get home is just as hard, maybe even harder, than the younger brother's physical journey home.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about the younger son.
Right.
He has to overcome, the actual physical distance.
Right.
Being away from his family.
Yeah.
And then all the struggles that come with that.
Yeah.
The material hardship.
Yeah, like actually getting back.
Yeah. But the older brother, he's dealing with all this resentment.
Oh, yeah.
All this hurt that he's been carrying around for who knows how long. And that can be so isolating.
Yeah, he's right there, like at home.
Yeah, he never left.
But he's so far away from everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so then there's this connection to a story that I know so many of you love. A river runs through it.
Oh, it's a classic.
It really is.
I cry every time.
Me too. But for those who haven't read it, it's about two brothers in Montana. Norman, the responsible one, becomes an English professor, and then there's Paul, who's super talented, but also really self-destructive.
The younger brother, right.
Yeah, and he struggles with addiction.
So how does that connect to the prodigal son?
Well, it's less about the prodigal son's return and more about the impact a sibling like that can have on everyone. See, unlike the younger son in the parable, Paul, he doesn't ask for help. He just kind of goes down his own path, which ends up being really tragic. And that's where the student Beth comes in. She was in a freshman English class, and she had a really strong reaction to the book.
What was it about the book that got to her?
Well, a lot of people see Paul as this, like, romantic, tragic hero.
Right.
But Beth, she saw something else entirely because she had a brother who was, well, a lot like Paul.
So her own life experiences really shaped how she saw the story.
Completely. And her essay, it's like there's a whole other side of the story where the younger brother isn't some heroic figure, but actually someone who caused a lot of pain.
Okay, so she's challenging that, like, mythic hero archetype.
Yeah, and she even gives some really specific examples. She talks about how her mom would always be waiting at the window for her brother to come home.
Oh, wow. Just like the dad in the parable, right?
Totally. And she also talks about how when he would come home, her mom would just shower him with attention, almost like she didn't even see Beth.
So she felt like her brother's problems just took over everything.
Yeah. And then there were all these broken promises.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Right. And phone calls from the police or from friends instead of from her brother himself. It was just this constant cycle of anxiety and disappointment.
Oh, that sounds so heavy.
It was, and so different from that happy reunion in the parable.
Right.
And then she says this line that just gets me every time. He has left us nothing to celebrate. He has left only marks of hurt. We don't know him anymore.
Wow.
And it's like, that's the older brother in the parable standing outside the party. But it's not just physical distance. It's this deep, deep emotional distance.
Yeah, I can see that.
And her English professor asked this really interesting question. Is her essay a true spiritual understanding of the book? Or is it a complete misreading?
Oh, look, it's a tough one.
It really is,
Yeah.
because it makes you think about how our own pain and our own experiences shape how we see everything.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's where the connection back to the parable becomes so powerful, because Beth's inability to celebrate her brother, all that resentment and pain, it's exactly how the older brother must be feeling as he hears the music and laughter from the party.
Totally. And, the sermon speaker says something really interesting. He says that getting over these ancient resentments and deep hurts, it's just as hard as overcoming an addiction.
Right.
And it made me think about that Psalm, Psalm 119.176. I have strayed like a lost sheep. Seek your servant, for I have not forgotten your commands.
Which shows that you can be outwardly obedient but still feel totally lost inside.
Yeah, it's not just about physical wandering. It's about that internal state of feeling lost.
And then you have the father in the parable saying, "This brother of yours was dead and has come to life. He was lost and is found."
Which are such beautiful words.
Yeah, but to the older brother, I bet they sounded like nails on a chalkboard.
Right. Because he's the one who's been there all along doing everything right.
And yet he's not the one getting the party.
And I think that's where a lot of us can relate, right? We feel like we're doing everything we're supposed to, but we're not getting the recognition.
Yeah.
Or the love.
He's like we're invisible.
Ex-
But the sermon ends on this note of hope that the older brother, maybe like Beth, eventually finds his way to the party.
to forgiveness and reconciliation.
Yeah, and the speaker even shares a personal story about how he's identified with both sons at different points in his life, but his parents were always there for him no matter what.
And that just shows you the power of unconditional love.
Right. It's like that idea of a God who just loves and understands everyone.
And welcomes everyone into a house of joy.
Yeah. So this long journey home we've been talking about, it's not really about geography, is it?
No, not at all.
It's about those deep, messy emotions, resentment, forgiveness, all of it. And it doesn't matter if you're the one who strayed or the one who stayed.
That's a really good way to put it.
So here's a question for you, our listener. Where in your own life is there an older brother journey that you haven't really acknowledged?
Like, where are you holding on to resentment?
Yeah, or maybe where do you need to forgive yourself?
Or where do you need to forgive someone else?
Because understanding this other side of the story, it can really change how you see forgiveness.
Yeah, it can give you a whole new perspective.
So thank you for going on this deep dive with us into a story that most people think they know, but actually has so much more to teach us.
It really does.
And keep sending in those great sources because this is what we love to talk about.
Absolutely. Keep them coming.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See you then.